Secretariat. And you can see these images from different parts of Calcutta, the heavy hand of the state coming down upon these students. There were images of tear gas shells and water cannons being deployed on peaceful protesters whose only demand was justice for the 31-year-old junior doctor who was raped and murdered at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital. For a party that came to power on the back of street protests and street agitations like Shingur and Nandigram, the TMC today is wearing the clothes of the oppressive state. And the images of lone protesters along the Howrah Bridge carrying the Indian flag, braving blasting waters and smoky tear gas fumes, these images will be the defining image of this day. These will also be the defining images of these protests, which simply are refusing to die down. The TMC, for its part, says this was a politically motivated protest and that many of these students were not even students in the first place. They were active BJP karyakartas and workers who were undertaking this protest for purely political reasons. Tomorrow, in protest against what happened today at the Howrah Bridge, the BJP has given a 12-hour Bandh call. The question is, why should the heavy hand of the state come down on these protesters in the manner in which it did today? Who or what is it that the Mamata government is trying to protect? But first, the story of what has been an extremely dramatic and tense day in Kolkata.
You can see that situation now really tense out here.
आरजी कर मेडिकल कॉलेज में जिस तरह से एक जघन्य अपराध होता है, ममता बनर्जी बिल्कुल स्पष्टता से एक स्टैंड लेती हैं कि वो आरोपियों के साथ खड़ी रहेंगी, उनको संरक्षण देंगी।
All right, full panel joining us on Brass Tacks tonight. Kanchan Gupta is Senior Advisor to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry of the Central Government. Tuin Sinha, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Riju Datta is National Spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Saira Shah Halim is Leader of the CPIM. Kanchan Gupta, let me start with you first. The TMC is contending that many of these protesters were not students in the first place. They were active BJP karyakartas. They're citing a letter that was written by Shubhendu Adhikari, the leader of the opposition, saying how people should support this protest. They're also citing videos, some videos of BJP karyakartas saying that there should be mass arrests and mass deaths today. So the TMC's contention is, why should there be sympathy for what was politically motivated protests? What is your response to that?
Thank you, Zaka, for inviting me to your show. I just have no words to respond when it comes to, floating fake recordings and fake stories. That is not the way you control a situation where there is an outburst of public anger, of popular anger. Now, for a moment, let's accept that these are all BJP karyakartas, for argument's sake. What does it say about the incumbent government and the party in power? That they did look brutal today, they did look oppressive today, but which state looks oppressive and brutal? A state which is cornered, which is frightened, and which is scared that it is losing ground. It's very easy to just reject the visuals that are coming in and say that these were all organized protests. Ever since the incident happened, Every day, the streets of Kolkata are full of protesters. These are organic protests. These are protests by people who have now sort of come to believe that things have gone far beyond control of the law and order machinery. And hence, they need to demonstrate, they need to protest, they need to get together, band together. And the correct way of dealing with this situation was to have started some sort of a dialogue, but that opportunity is long gone by. Every day, some new revelation comes up. This morning's revelation or last night's revelation that the main accused in the case, the main accused as of now in the case, was using a motorcycle that had been registered in the name of the Calcutta police chief. Now, these are documents that are coming out. The veracity of those documents, of course, shall be probed by the investigating team. But the connections and the linkages, and I don't say this simply because it is the TMC at the other end.
Okay.
The connections and linkages of this nature should worry any incumbent government, any incumbent administration. It doesn't speak well about the authority of that government, about the intentions of that government. And lastly, Zaka, to run down these protests doesn't really make sense, and that too by the TMC. The TMC is a creature that was born of street protests.
Yeah.
Mamata Banerjee knows that better than anybody else. Every day on July 21, they observe Martyrs' Day. What is that observation for? What are they commemorating? A rally in 1993, which turned so violent that the same Calcutta police had to open fire? 13 of their karyakartas were killed. And just because they now occupy the seat of power, they say that nobody else can protest.
So they are behaving the way the CPM used to behave back in the 80s and 90s. Dr. Riju Datta, I just want you to look at these pictures, and I'm sure you've seen this through the afternoon. There are lone individuals standing there holding the tricolour, and there are water cannons being hit out at them. There are tear gas shells that are being burst in front of their face, and one of them is wearing saffron clothes, and he is coming up there and looking at the police and saying almost, is that all that you have? How do you, as a spokesperson of a party that basically, rose up from the ground up on the back of street agitations, whether it was what happened in 1993, as Kanchan Gupta was referring to, or whether it was later Shingur and Nandigram, you are now the embodiment of the oppressive state. How do you justify the water cannons and the tear gas shells at lone individuals, even if they are BJP karyakartas, who are standing there and holding the Indian tricolour?
Okay, now let me start off. You are showing images. We all can see those images. I hope, Zaka, you'll give me the courtesy of time because it's 3 against 1 today. So let me start off by showing you some images. This is the first image. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see this image? Yeah. This is a policeman who's broken and beaten. This is another one. See these images. And do you know who took these images? These are images posted by your journalist, Komalika Sengupta from Calcutta. Who will speak about these police people? Somebody before me said that there have been protests that are happening on a daily basis, and I'm absolutely amused how people contradict in one sentence their own selves. Protests are happening every day from 9th August till today. Has there been scenes like this? Then you would have done a show like this every day. No. Why did it happen today? If anybody calls this protest a students' protest, they seriously need an appointment in AIMS for their mental stability and their eyesight. This was not a students' protest. This was a protest that was orchestrated by the BJP, including BJP's hooligans, who wanted dead bodies to create a Bangladesh-like situation in Bengal. And I'm not mincing my words here. They came out on the street looking for dead bodies because they cannot electorally or democratically win in Bengal. They're trying to destabilize an electorally won government. I'm being absolutely honest here. Now, you said that this is all happening, you're trying to be the oppressor. If there are peaceful protests, nobody is hitting or fighting against them. But if a protest where stones are pelted at police, where the protesters are brickbatting, where you are burning police vehicles, where you are destroying government and public property, you are breaking a barricade trying to infiltrate into the Secretariat of West Bengal, what do you expect the police to do?
No.
I salute the Bengal police for showing
Wasn't
restraint
Mamata
today.
Banerjee in 1993 also leading a march to Writers' Building when she was famously
Yes.
hit to the
Yes,
ground and
yes.
you know
And that
her head
is-
was
yes,
bleeding
yes,
and
sir.
stuff? So today the
Yes,
protesters are doing the same thing. They were taking out a march to Nabanna.
Yes, but like you said, and like the gentleman before you said, this is not the left regime. If this would have been the left regime, today there would have been 13 or more dead bodies on the road. The police, I salute the police for showing the restraint they showed today. The national flag, and there are very intelligent people on this panel. The national flag has a code. The tricolor has a code. You do not have, the BJP leaders do not have the gumption or the guts to use their own flags because they are become irrelevant or their flag does not hold power. You will use the national flag for a protest like this? You are defaming the national flag.
Hang on.
but defaming the state of West
Hang
Bengal.
on. No. The national code was deregularized by an order of the Supreme Court of India. If you remember back in 2012, when people came out on the streets of the national capital, when Nirbhaya happened, they were protesting holding the national flag. When the India Against Corruption movement happened, again at Ramlila Maidan here in Delhi, there were no party flags. They were protesting under the Indian flag.
Zaka,
When the freedom movement was
Zaka,
happening, we
somebody
were
said,
protesting under the flag. So to say that, they should have used BJP flags and not the Indian flag. I mean, what is your point?
No,
I want to bring in the other guests also, but I just want to understand.
Let me just give me 10 seconds.
Dr. Datta, are you today suggesting that the TMC, the party of street agitations, today is speaking for the police and not for the people? The people upon whom these tear gas shells and these water cannons were deployed almost indiscriminately. Today the TMC is not speaking for the people, they are speaking for the police.
No, I am categorically saying that when people say that Bengal has turned into an oppressive state because they have unleashed water cannons, will they say the same thing when the police unleashed water cannons and lathi charged in Badlapur? This is the same thing that happened in Uttar Pradesh. It's the same thing that happened in Assam. In Assam, a gang rape accused, murder accused, died in police custody.
Okay.
Then the state does not become oppressive.
No, we have done shows on Badlapur. We have done shows when cases have come to the fore in Uttar Pradesh, in Hathras or wherever it is. So I don't want this, selective equivalence happening on the show. What happened in Kolkata, what happened in RG Car, there has to be justice for that victim. There has to be protective measures for the doctors. It's almost unending. Anyway, let me ask Tuin Sinha this. Tuin Sinha, how do you respond to the TMC's charge that there were posts on social media saying that there are BJP or BJP affiliated folks who are orchestrating this? The BJP has been calling for Mamata Banerjee to resign. She has 215 MLAs out of a house of 294. Why should she resign? And why don't you apply the same yardstick where rapes and sexual assaults happen in states which are ruled by the BJP? Today, we had a case in Ratnagiri. You come from Maharashtra, Tuin Sinha. You live and work there. In Ratnagiri, an auto driver has raped a passenger, and this man is still absconding. It's been 48 hours.
I'm absolutely appalled by the vehemence, the brazenness and the shamelessness of the TMC, who seem to be warning today that if the Calcutta police had not done a fantastic job, there would have been more dead bodies. The only person who has played politics over dead bodies in the last 14 years in Kolkata, in Bengal, is Mamata Banerjee, whether it was post-election riots, whether it was the panchayat election killings, and the numerous judgments of the numerous observations of the Calcutta High Court bear testimony to that. Now, anyway, coming to today's violence, if BJP has to stage a protest, we will do it very openly like we are going to do tomorrow. Fact is that this was an out and out people's protest. And why were people protesting? While you may, draw a contrived equivalence with what has happened in Maharashtra, what has happened in Uttar Pradesh, and where not, fact is that this kind of an institutional cover-up is unprecedented in India's history. And let me exactly tell you what I'm saying. Even today, 15 days later, there are every day we come across some incriminating information. Today's information is that, the victim, the rapist, Sanjay Roy, or the alleged rapist, Sanjay Roy, was using a vehicle which was registered in the name of police commissioner. Is this the legacy of Mamata Banerjee as the Home Minister of Bengal? Why are people outraged? I'm telling you other facts.
Dr. Datta, can you give us a reasonable explanation?
I'm making some very important points over here.
I think it's a fair point. You asked it. I
Let me
think
complete over here,
once
please.
again, I'm coming back to you. You asked a legitimate
No,
question.
I need 30 seconds.
I think Kanchan also asked this earlier. Dr. Datta, can you give us a conceivable reason why a civic volunteer was using a bike or a scooter registered in the name of the police commissioner? Can you please explain?
Okay. Yes, I will. There was a press conference done by none other than ADG Law and Order. Shortly, I don't know whether you've seen it or you missed it, where they have openly said, and I think Kolkata Police has put out a tweet also, that it is common practice that every motorbike that is given to SI or ASI rank officers are bought under the name of the Commissioner of Police of Calcutta. Point number one, I'm not finished.
No, but this
Point
guy is
number
not
two,
SI or ASI.
Can I
He's a
finish,
civic
sir?
volunteer.
Zaka, please. Zaka, let me finish here. The second point is this bike was assigned to a guy called Ajay, who's an SI of Kolkata Police. This bike was seized by Kolkata Police and handed over to the CBI. And that guy Ajay, to whom this bike was assigned to, was called by the CBI 4 days ago and grilled for 11 hours and sent home.
But why was a civic volunteer driving a bike assigned to a sub-inspector registered in the name of the Calcutta Police Commissioner? You don't find that bizarre?
Other questions?
No. That is a bizarre incident, but that Ajay fellow has given that answer to the CBI. Why the CBI has not taken him into custody?
Okay, so your contention is CBI is investigating for the last 15 days. What the hell are they doing? So, Tuin, please respond.
Yes, absolutely.
Sandeep Ghosh, the principal, the former principal of this college. Hear me out, Tuin. TMC's contention is CBI has been questioning Sandeep Ghosh for the last 10 days, every single day, for 10, 12, 15 hours. If they have something on him, why have they not arrested him yet? Tuin.
No, the point is, like incriminating information is coming out every single day. Equally absurd information is coming out about Sandeep Ghosh. What are the charges? 2 days ago, the morgue manager, Tarak Chatterjee, apparently gave an interview to a Bengali channel. What are the allegations against Sandeep Ghosh? That he was carrying a business of illegally plucking out body parts from dead bodies and trading. These are the allegations which are there, and they want an answer from CBI every day. I'm appalled, simply appalled at the shamelessness of this TMC. Do you think that this kind of illegal trade can take place in the heart of Kolkata in RG Kar Hospital without the top brass of TMC knowing it? Why else would they be shielding Sandeep Ghosh? The other charges against him.
One second. No crosstalk, please. No crosstalk. Let me go to Saira Shah Halim, please. Let's have Saira Shah Halim on screen. Saira Shah Halim, the Chief Minister, no less, has said that this entire thing, she said this on day one, this entire thing is being orchestrated by VAM and RAM, meaning left on the one side and BJP on the other. She finds this to be entirely politically motivated. The contention of the TMC is within 24 hours, once this case came to light, they arrested the lone accused. For the longest time, both your party and the BJP have been saying, it cannot be done by one person, the nature of the wounds, the kind of grievous injuries the victim suffered. There are multiple people involved. This is a gang rape. Turns out now even the CBI is coming around to the view. In fact, it told the court in as many words in the last hearing that it was done by a lone accused, in this case Sanjoy Roy, who's been arrested. So every step of the way, and then this whole thing about Sandeep Ghosh. For 10 hours every single day for the last 10 days, they've been questioning him. If the CBI had a watertight case against Sandeep Ghosh and his misdemeanors there in RG Kaur College, then why is he not being arrested? So the contention of the Chief Minister and the Trinamool Congress is you and the BJP, political rivals, have joined hands. There's some kind of underhand deal between your two parties just to defame and bring down an elected government. You all can't defeat her electorally, therefore you are resorting to non-electoral means.
Okay, so good evening, Zaka. Firstly, I think this is a very foolish allegation because it is very clear now that Mamata Banerjee needed a diversion, and Bharatiya Janata Party has given that diversion, on a platter. If you look at today's protest, you have protesters climbing over barricades. Okay, some places police had to use tear gas. Apparently, police has said that no permission was sought for the protest, and the state police has labeled this whole protest as illegal and unauthorized. So if you look at it, if you look at this entire march that happened today, it seems that they were agent provocators who were part of this. And, the TMC definitely wanted diversion. They wanted violence because to delegitimize a very, very peaceful protest, by doctors, by nurses, by civil society, that has been an ongoing process for the last 2 weeks. And just to discredit the movement, she is happily given the BJP an axe to grind. You look at these gundas, right? And these people are, from the unregistered Paschim, Bongo, Chhatra Samaj. And some of them are alleged to be from Sangrami Jutto Mancho. That's a joint platform of struggle. So it's an organization that has affiliations, with the state employees and also with the BJP. So you can, it's quite clear that there is some joint understanding between the BJP and the TMC, and particularly the TMC.
What leads you to say, Sarah Shah Halim, that the protests have been delegitimized? If anything at all, it's been further legitimized by the heavy-handed actions of the state.
See, the point is, how do you are deploying more than 6,000 police personnel. You're using tear gases. You are agitating protesters. Okay, the protesters are also, using stones. Okay, and there was a police inspector apparently who got severely injured. So here we have people clambering over barricades. You have people, pulling down barricades and throwing stones at the police. Of course, the police will use tear gas. So obviously, this is a concerted effort from the TMC government to legitimize a very peaceful doctors' movement, civil society movement, students' protest that's been going on for the last two
Okay, so let me ask Kanchan Gupta this, that do you buy this argument that this whole thing now gets delegitimized because this is no longer a non-political or apolitical protest? This is fully politicized by the BJP protesters who were protesting today and the response of the state government led by the TMC. And therefore, the protests lose their legitimacy because of that. Kanchan Gupta.
Zaka, if you are referring to politicization in terms of party politics, it was inevitable. It would happen in any other situation too, in any other state too. But there is more to this. These days the personal is political. At least half of the people who are coming out on the streets every day, an 82-year-old doctor the other night was out in the streets protesting. Now, will you say that she is from the CPM or the Congress or the BJP? My young panelist over here, I don't wish to sound patronizing at all, and that's something which I have a distaste for it myself. But I have lived through the late 1960s, the 1970s, 1980s, and it was in 1991 I relocated to Delhi. So I have seen the left front up close, starting from the United Front days. I have seen the CPM from the United Front days. And to say that, I mean, by the nature of today's protest, you can make out these are all gundas, these are all this, these are all that. That's a very unfair thing to say. If I look back, today's scenes look very similar to the food agitation scenes, to the teachers' agitation scenes, and both the movements were led by the CPIM. If I look back, I mean, the famous Maidan rally, which led to the ultimate collapse of the United Front and the birth of Siddharth Shankar Ray's similar oppressive regime. I can recall absolutely similar scenes, and they were much more violent. They were much more violent. There was much more bloodletting. At least today, I mean, even if we are suggesting that there was any violence by the protesters, it was reactive. It was not proactive violence.
Okay.
But those rallies by the CPM were all proactive violence. Now, the larger point here, the TMC person said that there are 3 persons against him. I am against nobody. I am for the people of Bengal. As a Bengali, as an Indian, I am for the people of Bengal. And I think the people of Bengal deserve much, much better than what they have been getting ever since 1977.
They certainly deserve much better than what they've been getting since the 9th of August in what was clearly an organic, people-driven protest. And I still believe it is by and large driven by the people, driven by doctors, students and lawyers. Unfortunately, neither has the victim got justice, nor are the demands of the doctors for better protection being met. We'll see how the next 12 hours plays out, because it's going to be a full-fledged Bandh that's been called for by the BJP. How they respond and how the state responds to that, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you very much in the meanwhile for joining us. We will keep an eye out very closely on the developments there in Kolkata. I want to quickly shift focus to another story that we're tracking here on Brass Tacks. There is another corruption flashpoint in the state of Karnataka, with the BJP questioning the grant of a site under the Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board to a trust that is run by the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's family. That trust is headed by one of his sons, Rahul Kharge. The 5 acres that have been allotted is in the high-tech Defence Aerospace Park, which is very close to Bangalore. It is part of over 45 acres that have been set aside for civic amenities under scheduled caste quota. Now, the BJP has alleged that the allocation involves misuse of power, nepotism and conflict of interest, as the Kharge family are not in the business of aerospace. They are not entrepreneurs in the business of aerospace. They have called this injustice against ordinary entrepreneurs and youths from the SC community. Karnataka Industries Minister M.B. Patil has said no rules were violated and that the site was given at a prescribed price with no discounts whatsoever. Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge, who is also the son of Mallikarjun Kharge, has dismissed the allegations, asserting that the land is indeed for educational purposes, specifically for establishing a multi-skill development centre. This has become another face-off between the Congress and the BJP in the wake of the Muda and the Valmiki scams that have jolted the Siddaramaiah government. I want to go across to the state BJP president, B.V. Vijendra, who's now leading this charge against Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's family trust. The Karnataka BJP had taken up the Muda scam, then the SCST scam. The then minister had to resign. Now you're taking up in a big way the KIADB scam against the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and his family trust. But they have countered it by saying that this was given for the purposes of constructing an educational skilling center, and that they plan to build an educational institution, a skilling center there in the 5 acres that's been allotted. How do you respond? They're saying there's nothing illegal. The prices were not depressed. It was given at market prices and everything was done by the book. How do you respond?
See, there is nothing illegal in allotting 5 acres of land to a public trust. But my question is, since this was a civic amenities land, which is right next to Bangalore International Airport, why only Kharge Family's Trust was chosen for allotment? My question is simple. If at all this civic amenities land was meant for public trust or educational trust, how many applicants were there? My dear friend, as you are aware, if a civic amenity land needs to be allotted, firstly, it has public notice has to be issued. I need Mr. M.B. Patil, the concerned minister, and Priyanka Kharge needs to answer. Was this piece of land was notified? How many applicants were there for this particular land? And why only Kharge Family Trust was chosen for the allotment? So this needs to be answered by Priyanka Kharge as well as M.B. Patil, Major Industries Minister.
So I just want to be clear that the BJP's contention, its opposition to the Kharge Family Trust getting this land for developing a skill center is, if it is above board, you're okay with it. You are asking that whether there were other bidders in the process who were disregarded and this family was given, or whether they were just the sole bidders in this case, and also whether there was a tender issued for the same. If there were other people also who had claimed for this bid, or was this allocated specifically to the Kharge family? In case they were the sole beneficiaries, then you're saying questions need to be asked.
According to my sources, it was not brought to the public notice. The land that has been allotted to Kharge Family's Trust, it has not brought to the public notice. No applicants were invited. Only Kharge Family Trust was chosen by the Congress government. Only Kharge Family's Trust was chosen by the Industries Department. Only Kharge Family's Trust was chosen by concerned Minister M.B. Patil ji. So, not only my question, people of Karnataka are asking, demanding answers from Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well as the Industries Minister. Why only Kharge Family's Trust? There are good number of institutions which is in and around Bangalore. Why only Kharge Family's Trust was chosen for this prime land, which needs to be answered by Chief Minister as well as the Industry Minister.
So I do want to ask you, BJP has been taking up the Muda scam in a big way. You took up the SCST, Valmiki scam earlier on as well. The Chief Minister has been steadfastly saying, at least as far as the Muda scam is concerned, there's no question of any corruption either by him or his family members. Even the Congress High Command, the leadership there seems to be backing the Chief Minister, and the Chief Minister will not step down. So then now, is it because you've failed in that attempt that you're now bringing to light what you allege is another scam, in this case, the Kharge Family Trust?
See, Bharatiya Janata Party has been consistently demanding the resignation of the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah ji on two issues. Firstly, as you are aware, in Estate Development Corporation, 187 crores that was meant for the welfare of the scheduled tribe community has been looted by the present Congress government. The concerned Minister Nagendra was forced to resign. He was forced to resign. And Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, initially he was claiming that no scam had taken place. At the later stage, Chief Minister himself accepted on the floor of the House, yes, the scam has taken place in Estate Development Corporation, but it's not 187 crores, but it's 87 crores. So finally, Chief Minister was forced to accept. And secondly, in Mysore Muda scam, 14 sites has been allotted illegally for Chief Minister's family, his wife Parvathamma. Secondly, sites worth more than 5,000 crores has been given to real estate mafia in Mysore. The same Mysore which belongs to Siddaramaiah. He is the Chief Minister of the state. So, under the leadership of Siddaramaiah ji, who claims himself as the champion of Dalits, who claims himself as the champion of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, has let down the entire community. The money and the site which were meant for these communities has been taken away by this Congress government under the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah ji. Bharatiya Janata Party has been fighting relentlessly inside the assembly and outside the assembly also. And you are also aware, recently we have had a Padayatra from Bangalore to Mysore against this corrupt Congress government. And now the governor of Karnataka has accorded the sanction for prosecution against Siddaramaiah family in Mysore Moda scandal. So I am sure Siddaramaiah will be forced to resign in a couple of weeks.
All right, Mr. B.V. Vijendra, the state president of the Karnataka BJP, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out politically. Thank you for joining us here on Brass Tacks. We'll take a quick break. Up next, a deep dive on the US presidential elections with America's top political scholar, Aaron Lipyat, who is a professor emeritus at the University of California, San Diego. I'll ask him on what he thinks about the state of the current race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. That's right on the other side of this quick break.
Completely a student body, it's a different protest altogether, and BJP is lending moral support. Now, I want to understand this one aspect. When ADG South Bengal mentions that there are no permissions for this sort of a protest to take place, and hence we are seeing the kind of arrangements that you are presenting before us, Kamalika, it has been turned into a fortress, like you say. Do we already see a preemptive measure being taken, considering they are already expecting that this will go ahead and turn violent?
Yeah, that's what the police is saying. Yesterday they did a press conference and they said that they have intelligence input that there's going to miscreants are going to create trouble, number one. Number two, they are also said that they have the input that certain members of this Poschimbango Chhatra Samaj, which is a 10-day-old unit which has been born out of Facebook, has gone and done meeting with some politician. That's what the claim of the police is. On the other hand, the students are saying they are seeking justice. They know that this chief minister is incompetent and the chief minister should resign. That is why this is a peaceful movement they plan to do. This is the students are saying. They are saying that we are seeking justice, the Poschimbango Chhatra Samaj. On the other hand, the police is saying that the miscreants will be there. They are going to spread wide-scale violence, and therefore such arrangements are made.
Right. Kamalika, I request you to stay on with us. Reactions continue to pour in on the story that my colleague Kamalika is tracking from Kolkata. Let's first take a look at that, then we'll go back to Kamalika.
It's not my rally. This is a collective approach. This is the rally which will going to happen. It's called by social media. This is the furthermost duty of the police to take all the responsibility to make this rally peaceful. I have asked that if anything happens with this all seven, please, every political party and respected leader should think about us, and they should, if things happen, if we have been cornered with false case and fake case, then please help us.
They had announced through social media and the press that they will be undertaking a program called Nabanna Abhijan on 27th. But they did not seek permission, which is mandatory requirement as far as the Honorable High Court directives. After our press conference was over this afternoon, we have received 2 mails from these 2 different organizations. The mail that we have received from Poschimbango Chhatra Samaj, it's an intimation. It's not a formal permission letter. They have just intimated that we are going to do that program, and in this mail also they have not revealed the details that are required to be shared with the police for peaceful conducting of the program. Hence, their application has been rejected.
It was organized by a student body. The rally's organizer has insisted that the movement remain non-political and non-violent, placing responsibility on the police if anything goes wrong. Meanwhile, the ADG of South Bengal has warned of potential disturbances, calling this very rally illegal due to a lack of permission. Now, politics is at its peak as BJP leaders Suvendu Adhikari and Shukanto Majumdar have asked people from...
Welcome back to Brass Tacks. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have effectively rallied the Democrat base to take on Trump's MAGA Republicans. Trump was confident of victory against Joe Biden, but his campaign seems to be struggling with what is seen as a revival moment in the Democrat with a attack. So the question is, has the Harris-Walz campaign thrown Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance off their game. Here is a deep dive into the state of the US presidential election race as it stands today, a few days after Kamala Harris managed to formally secure the Democratic Party's nomination.
As the Democratic National Convention wrapped up, with Kamala Harris officially becoming the first woman of color to become a major party's presidential nominee. Her Republican rival Donald Trump was keeping himself busy, not at a rally or at a campaign event, but on Truth Social. As Kamala Harris delivered her 45-minute speech, Trump posted about 37 times, launching a tirade against her. In her speech, Kamala Harris described Trump as an unserious man whose return to the White House will have serious consequences.
Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Harris's takedown was only the final blow at the end of 4 nights of consistent jabs and pokes at the former president.
Donald Trump calls America a failing nation. No, I'm serious, but think about this. Think about this. He publicly says to the whole world, I'm going to say something outrageous. I know more foreign leaders by their first names and know them well than anybody alive. Just because I'm so damn old. But I'm not joking. Think of the message he sends around the world when he talks about America being a failing nation. He says we're losing. He's the loser. He's dead wrong.
Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial. And when he woke up, he made his own kind of history. The first person to run for president with 34 felony convictions.
Two days ago, I turned 78, the oldest man in my family of 4 generations. And the only personal vanity I want to assert is I'm still younger than Donald Trump.
Let us not forget who assaulted democracy on January 6th. He did. But let us not forget who saved democracy that day. We did.
She's lived a life like ours. She knows us. Donald Trump doesn't know you at all. You think he understands that when your car breaks down, you can't get to work? No. His first word was probably chauffeur.
It's not freedom to tell women what they can do with their bodies. And hear me on this, it sure as hell isn't freedom to say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom.
Donald Trump is like an old boyfriend who you broke up with, but he just won't go away. He has spent the last 4 years spinning the block. Relationship with the American people. Bro, we broke up with you for a reason.
Even Republicans at the DNC were endorsing Harris and blasting Trump.
It's in standing up for our Constitution and democracy. Conservative. It used to be the soul of being a Republican.
but Donald Trump has suffocated the soul of the Republican Party.
But perhaps the biggest zingers of the DNC came from
stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames. Depression with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on.
I want to know, who's going to tell him the job he's just those back jobs?
Trump's advisors were reportedly hoping that he sticks to talking about the economy, border and crime, and were urging him to avoid personal attacks. But with the DNC, that hope has now gone out of the window.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy?
Trump even polled the crowd at a North Carolina rally, asking if he should do more policy or go personal.
Let me ask you about that. We're going to do a free poll. Here's the two questions. Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? Ready? Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? I don't know. My advisors are fired. No, we'd rather keep it on policy, but sometimes it's hard when you're attacked from all ends. I mean, they want to put you in jail for nothing.
So the campaign strategy now seems to be at the whim of the candidate and the feedback of his supporters at rallies. It's no secret that Donald Trump thrives on controversy. But this has the potential to distract from focusing on the weaknesses in his rivals' policy positions. It's a strategy that has worked for him in the past in 2016, but the mood of the nation is very different now. So can Trump pull it off again on the 5th of November?
All right, let's get a sense of the state of the race as it exists right now. I'm now going across to Professor Emeritus of Political Science at the University of California, San Diego, and one of America's foremost political scientists and scholars, Dr. R.N. Lippiatt is now joining us. Thank you very much, Dr. Lippiatt. I first want to ask you your thoughts on the state of the election race as it stands today. It's Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Harris, of course, just securing the Democratic Party's nomination with that famous speech back on Thursday night, Friday morning. So 4 days after she clinched the nomination, do you reckon this is still very much a neck-and-neck race and anything can possibly happen on the 5th of November, despite the fact that Harris is expected to get a bit of a bump, if you will, once the first polls are in after the convention, after the Democratic convention concluded last week?
Yes, I think that is true, even though I think the chances that Kamala Harris has are now better. Most of the experts who are looking at the polls, and especially in the so-called battleground states, say that she has a better than even chance, something like 52%, 53%. I myself think that it's somehow I have a feeling it's a little bit higher than that, but the things have certainly turned around. She almost as soon as she became the candidate, the opinion polls became much more favorable for her. So that is a very important development.
I do want to know from you what exactly changed about a month, maybe about 40 odd days ago, when the assassination attempt happened on Donald Trump. It seemed like this election was a done deal, that this was his election to lose, and that at that time Harris was not even the official Democratic nominee. It was still Biden. Biden then dropped out, and within a matter of a few days, she sort of got the rank and file and the leadership of the Democratic Party to rally around her. How did she manage this turnaround? People, at the Democratic Convention, people were saying that this kind of joy and energy, you can feel that something big is happening in America. How did this turnaround happen?
Yeah, I think there are a number of reasons. One is that compared with President Biden, that she seemed to be, more, obviously she's quite a bit younger, more energetic, and instead of being hindered by this being a last-minute development, I think that may actually have helped her, because it meant that she could very, very quickly being endorsed by the whole party, all the power brokers in the party, and did not have to go through primary elections where different candidates attack each other and tear down each other. So there was kind of like an instant unity to the party, and that shows that good feeling has considered, and I think that is very, very important. And an important factor in her chances are that especially some of the people who were hesitant to support the Democratic candidate, like younger people and people of color, have now rallied behind her. So there are a number of good and kind of like almost like accidental factors that have helped her. It's too early to say how things will develop for her in the near future. Of course, the Democratic Convention is just a few days behind us. Almost all of the experts say, yeah, you get a bump from a successful convention, but that will fade. I am looking. I'll be looking for the opinion polls in the next several days or several weeks to see whether she can sustain this.
You did say that this is still pretty much a very extremely close race, and I want to know your thoughts, particularly in the battleground states, the 3 states in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, which many refer to as the blue wall states. These are states that Biden won against Trump 4 years ago, but Hillary Clinton lost to Trump 8 years ago. Can Kamala Harris possibly afford to lose any one of these 3 states? Because if she does, then no matter what she does in the rest of the battleground states, were the Sun Belt states, as it were, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Arizona, it may not be enough because she has to win all of the blue wall states. Would that be an accurate assessment at this stage?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, that is how she does in all of the battleground states, and generally, I think about 7 of those are identified, including North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada. But those Midwestern states are especially crucial. What I have noticed with the serious surveys that have been conducted recently, that they now really just focus on the battleground states. They don't really worry too much more about what the national vote totals look like. What is important is how the vote in the battleground states will be, and especially the 3 that you mentioned. I mean, I live in California, and of course, I know that the voters in California, they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, and so it makes no difference. The difference will be what happens in those battleground states. So that you're exactly right. Hillary Clinton won the national vote, but lost in the battleground states, and that sealed her fate. Trump is a consistent. He has not won a national vote yet. I mean, he lost in 2016, even he won the election, but he didn't win the popular vote. And in 2020, of course, he lost the election, also lost the popular vote. And one of the possibilities that may well happen in November is that Kamala Harris will again win the popular vote, but that in the Electoral College that Trump will win, and so that he will be president for a second time, even though it would be the third time that he has lost the popular vote.
I do want to ask you, is there a danger for pollsters, like what we saw in 2016, that people who were being polled and people who were going to vote for Trump deliberately hid that fact, either because they were embarrassed or they didn't want to get into any controversy, and therefore there was a deliberate sort of undervaluing of the number of people who were going to vote for Trump, deliberate underreporting of the Trump vote, as it were. Do you see something similar happening this time around as well?
Well, I think no, she may well win get exactly that same fate with a popular vote win, but a loss in the electoral college. There are many organizations that take surveys, and they try to figure in all of these factors, a possible undercount with people who are refusing or reluctant to indicate their true preference. I must say I am amazed how accurate the surveys still are when they do all their weighing of the different population groups. They try to, of course, to be as complete and accurate as possible. But when you're talking about whether it's going to be 50%, 51%, 52%, that's an awfully small percentages, and it's amazing how good they still tend to be. But I agree with you. There's always the possibility of an undercount. And I would also say that with Trump has been president before, and I think the reluctance possible reluctance of people to say that they favor Trump is probably not going to be that much of a factor, because he has become a national figure, and certainly in areas where Trump is very, very popular, I think people would not be reluctant at all to say they're in favor of Trump.
Professor Aaron Lipiat, thank you very much for joining us here on Brass Tacks with your thoughts and perspective on the state of the U.S. presidential race. Thank you for your time.
To come out on the streets and protest. The Trinamool Congress has criticized the Bharatiya Janata Party, claiming that the protest is politically motivated and intended to create chaos.
Paschim Bongo Chhatra Samaj, an organization which has come out of Facebook, that's what they claim, has called for a Nabanna Abhijan. That means the Secretariat march today in Bengal, and that's why Howrah and Kolkata strict security arrangements have been made. I am standing in Chhatragachi, and this is the point from where this Paschim Bongo Chhatra Samaj will start their rally, but we can see that huge arrangements have been made by the police, because yesterday ADG South Bengal, ADG Law and Order of Bengal, they did a press conference and they have said that they have the intelligence input that there is going to be a widespread violence and miscreants going to come from other places, and they are going to attack and they are going to create violence. That and this rally or this procession is absolutely illegal. That is what the police claim is. As you can see that barricades have been made, and there is no way that they will be allowed inside, because police claims that this entire procession which they have called, it is illegal. They have not asked for any permission. Rather, on the other hand, the Paschim Banga Chhatra Samaj, they are saying that they don't know what are the norms because this is the first time they have started for such a procession. Their demand is justice for Abhaya, and also their main demand is resignation of Mamata Banerjee.
Let me take this across to my colleague Kamalika Singh Gupta, who's been tracking all the developments when it is about the RG Kaur rape and murder investigation and also the financial irregularities investigation that is currently going on against the former principal of the college. Kamalika, we're talking about this particular protest march, the Nabanna Abhiyan. Of course, the student body is saying that this is absolutely non-political and they do not want any kind of violence therein when it is about this protest. BJP, on the other hand, seems to be organizing another protest, is it?
No, BJP is actually morally supporting this students' movement. They themselves will not be present, but what they have said that they morally support this. They have also told the normal people to come out. One person from every house should come out and support this movement. That's what they have said. The students have requested that no political party leaders should be there. And the Trinamool Congress allegation is the fact that BJP is saying that everybody should come, and the fact that from morning Shubhendu Adhikari is saying that couple of students are missing. It proves that this is a BJP.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Russia is firing waves of missiles at Ukraine. Ukraine is targeting more Russian towns. A nuclear plant has been caught in the crossfire. The global nuclear watchdog is warning of another Chernobyl. Zelensky is asking the West to deliver long-range weapons. Prime Minister Modi dialed Putin